Right, guys. So after we've done a video about 4 or 5 days ago saying how badly the summer transfer window's gone for West Ham United, it has all suddenly hit a fucking match and decided to kick off. Um, this week has been absolutely mad, Ben, isn't it, for the rumour mill?
Yeah, it seems like can't turn around without us being linked to someone. It's actually kind of nice change of pace compared to the last couple of hours.
I I, I think when you look at the start of the transfer window, I think you probably look at we needed. I think most importantly, a right back, a striker, a left wing, and then you probably got a centre back or two, depending on who leaves, and then a defensive midfielder. And it looks like we're covering all of them.
Yeah, so right back striker seems to be nigh on finished. That seems to be nigh on covered. Obviously, we've got Fullkrug that's coming in as a striker, which I'm happy with. I predicted it. Oh, sorry, I said I wanted him a couple of weeks ago, so I'm quite happy with the signing. It'd be good to have a 10, 15 goal a season striker at least up front. Wan-Bissaka, I know we've covered before. Again, another signing I wanted. I know you said that I know he was linked with Inter before, and you said there was more now as well. There's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else coming out.
Inter have apparently. So we agreed a deal, and then Inter have apparently hijacked it. I think they're probably going to try and sweeten the deal with Man United. But I'm not. As I said, a Kufal for me is a really big one that we need shot of on a consistent basis. I watched the game against Wolves. I think last season he didn't even really watch preseason to know he was shaking out. He needs gone, or he needs gone on a permanent on a basis to play every week. He's not good enough. Uh, the Fullkrug one doesn't excite me. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I've said this to you for about a week. He's like one of those steady eddies, and he's a good striker. But I want to be going for like a younger, more promising striker that's putting in goals. Or if you're going to put 30 million into a player, can we just put it on Tony? Um,
I get where you're coming from. I think for me the exciting prospect is the fact that like as much as Antonio's done a lot for West Ham and I'll back that, but there's a lot of his finishing's not amazing and
no,
he's not in my opinion he's not an out and out striker. He can make the runs. He's good at challenging people, holding the ball up, stuff like that. But when it comes to in front of goal finesse, I think just having what I just consider a striker, an out and out forward, who can just finish a with a basic decent touch, I think it'll be interesting because I think that's one of the things we've been missing is being very clinical at the other end of the park.
I, don't get me wrong. I've got his stats down because obviously that's important. Obviously, we saw him in the Euros, right? But 12 goals, 8 assists. He can header balls. He's physically dominant. All right, he isn't quick, but if you have Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, and Summerville on every side of him,
He
I don't
don't
think
need
he
to be quick.
particularly needs pace.
No, no.
Um,
He just needs to be able to make those deep line runs where he can get into positions as they're bombed up.
do you know what it's been? Do you know how many times last year it's so evident as well? We were obviously at the Luton game, and you know that drag back that Earthy scored.
Mm.
Antonio's never in that right position,
No.
and I think like if he could just do that, he will score 10 a season, Ross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Quite. That's what I mean. I think us having a mate, if he scores 10, 15 goals a season, I'd be quite happy with that, to be
yeah,
honest. And because as well as as well as I do, our goals always we have no like out and out scorer. We just we pick it up somewhere in the park,
yeah.
and we have a number of different people who score our goals. To have that one focal point, and also have other people that are capable of doing it, I think it will make up for a better season for us. It'll be interesting how he's going to play. I think as well
I
compared to
was
how
impressed with
we've
him.
been
I was
playing.
impressed with him with Germany, and I think if you get in a Nagelsmann team, you're a good player. I do
Mhm.
think that. I'm not saying Germany are like blessed with centre forwards right now, but I do believe that if you get into that team, you're a good player.
The one thing I liked from what I saw from him at the Euros as well is he has work rate. He's not like a lazy forward. He's not what I consider like a Didier Drogba where he just sits on the edge of the penalty area and doesn't really ever do anything other than cross to me and I'll do a little knock in. He does drop back a little bit. He does make the runs. He is willing to lay the ball off. He's not greedy.
Yeah.
So I'm interested, mate. Obviously it's not like Ivan Toney would have been ideal. And that's a great signing. But I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
No, I think you
I
just look
hope.
at it, how sharp he looked for England, didn't it, Tony? And you just
Yeah.
think I'd love him for like. And I get the argument that he's going to be bigger wages than Fullkrug because he
Mm.
just will be. So if he's bigger wages, he's 30 million, the same amount as Fullkrug. You're going to get the same use out of him because I think they're the same age.
Mhm.
But it's like, and I get there's no sell on value, but Ivan Toney's done it in the Prem for 2-3 years now. I
Fullkrug
always
hasn't.
worry about getting continental talent in.
Yeah, I think it's like the Werner argument, isn't it? He when he was in Germany, he looks unbelievable. I'm not saying he's not a good player because he is, but he hasn't done what he done in Germany over here.
No, I think
And
that's
and I
fair.
think that is my main concern with Fullkrug, what we've seen of him and what we've seen of him when he's been playing on the continent compared to coming over at the Prem. Hopefully, mate, he takes a couple of games and then he picks it up. Mate, if you hit the ground running, I'll be loving it. But I get what you're saying, Tony. If it's the same money, it's the same longevity. It's just dependent, isn't it? I think the biggest thing is,
Do you know what I do like that his assists are very close to his goals. So it at least means that he doesn't just always needlessly shoot.
yeah, basically, I like the fact that with the fact that we've got Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, like they can all score goals. So you need to be. I think if it's a striker that's willing to do what Kane used to do for Spurs, is grab the ball, hold it
Or
up, and then lay it off. I'm not comparing the two.
no, I
I'm
was
not
going to
comparing the
say,
two. Kane's one of the best, probably the best number 9 in the world at the moment. Like I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying a similar job that if he could do that for us, mate, I don't think that's bad. Look, what was it last year? I don't think we lost. Did we lose a game with Paqueta? No, sorry, we didn't win a game with
no, we
Paqueta.
didn't win a game without Paqueta.
So,
No.
like, if you've got someone that can lay off and run off of him as well, yeah, I think will be a different beast this season.
Well, I think you've just absolutely segued that into brilliant. The most interesting / exciting signing I am looking for West Ham is Crescencio Summerville. That is, by the way, if we get him for 25 million, Leeds fans are apparently spitting with how cheap we're looking to get him for, and I completely understand why. I watched him so much last year in the Championship. He's done 30 goal involvement in 46 games. The boy is unreal off that left.
I think we've said this a couple of times. As much as I am an avid Saeed Ben Rama fan, and I'll back that probably too much at times, we need someone on that left side. I think it was abundant that last season that we had nothing going along the left. In my
Yeah.
opinion, it was very, very lazy.
Well,
And then,
he put Paqueta out there to square a problem.
but the problem is, I think it left us lacking at the back because as much as I like Emerson, I don't think he's a bad left back. But when him and Paqueta link up really well, and neither of them have really got a very defensive bone in their bodies. So as soon as they went up, we were left dead in the water. So I think, yeah, I've looked up a bit of Summerville, and he looks like a bit of class. And to be
He can
honest,
dribble,
I'm
he can
glad Leeds
shoot,
fans are
he
pissed
can
off.
take a man on.
Mate, we get it in for cheap. The one thing that I could praise us for this entire window is that we seem to be doing good business. It's actually a breath of fresh air to see the club just go, do you know what, we need to do some investment, and we seem to be doing all right. I can't moan so far.
If we get these two, apparently these two are nigh on. Some of us apparently already has the medical. I think that'll be Monday. It gets announced, which is fine. I don't mind as long as it gets announced. And Fullkrug. The next one's Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's an awkward one because I really want him, but I'm also not willing to start going into a tussle fest for who's going to pay him more money if all he wants to do is more money. If he doesn't want to be at West Ham, just let him go into Milan.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think as much as I like him, I do think he's a good right back. I'd love to see him with a West Ham shirt on. Yeah, if it is all about how much money I'm going to make and not what I can do for the club as well, then yeah, no, ta-ta, bye-bye.
I don't know why we didn't pursue Walker Peters at
No,
Southampton.
no, mate, but it was the argument with Glenn Johnson. I don't know why we let him go. Ben
Oh
Johnson,
God,
sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just...
because Walker Peters had a brilliant couple of seasons with Southampton, and then I don't know. We put our interest in it, and I think we got batted away with a scary bid. I think they put something like, "Oh, we're selling for less than 25, 30 million." You're like, well, you're paying 18 for Wan-Bissaka. You're going to pay more wages for Wan-Bissaka than you will for Walker Peters anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? All right, Walker Peters. I don't think he's more attacking than he is defensive.
Mm-hmm.
But Wan-Bissaka's not got an attacking bone in his body.
No. But I think that as well, if we could get someone like that, as much as obviously sometimes Kufal likes to just pick the ball up and run for it, I think Wan-Bissaka makes the right-hand side so secure at the back that Bale can basically do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to worry about going back. He can just go, I'm covered, and then just bomb forwards.
Yeah.
So I think that I think he'd be a really good signing. But like you said, I don't want bent over for it in the nicest way possible. If he doesn't want to come, don't bother.
No, no. Joe, I said this at the end of the season. Actually, Ben Johnson leaving might boot us up the arse a bit, because he can play at right back. All right, he wasn't brilliant last season, but I think when you ship the most amount of goals you've ever shipped in the Premier League, was any defensive player good?
No, but again, like I think that's obviously that's another subject. But it's Moisey, and it like I think with
And
half the stuff
I think but Moyes didn't let Ben Johnson go. That was a club decision.
no, but I think part of I meant the shipping the goals was Moyes.
Oh right,
Not enough proactive changes, and we just played the same way against everyone.
You've got two others. Obviously, you've got Guido Rodriguez. I'm not going to lie about. I don't know much about him. I know he's a defensive midfielder. That is one thing we also needed massively.
Yeah,
I know. Obviously, I put in our previous video. It was touted Todd Bowley was putting up Conor Gallagher for sale. I want him. Just going to put that out there. I don't think we'd put the money into him. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think Gallagher's such a good signing. I think City Gallagher, even sorry Palace Gallagher, and then you look at him now for Chelsea, and even in an England shirt. Yeah, fair enough. He didn't get much time. The effort, mate, is everywhere. You know what? He reminds me so much of Mark Noble. He just trying to touch every blade of glass, mate, and he just keeps going and going. And all right, he's not the most clinical. He's not the most technical, really.
Is this a
But
move to get Suchek out?
I
Or
think
Ward
so.
Prowse? What one?
I,
Because if you
I,
look
I
at that, if you sign Guido Rodriguez, we've had this conversation, right? And you sign Summerville, he's now a
Mhm,
left winger. You've got Cornet, Summerville, and possibly Kudus who can all play on that left wing. So probably one of them isn't going to play there, right? Because Summerville and Kudus are both considered first team players, I would think.
mhm.
So you probably drop Kudus in the midfield next to Paqueta and Alvarez. Is Guido Rodriguez to drop James Ward-Prowse or Suchek from being a sub?
I think it has to be Souček. I think
But you
yeah,
think it is to do that?
I think it is to do that. I think Souček really has been off the burner for the last 2 seasons, in my opinion. I don't think he's been great. I think he's had a few shining bits here and there, but I think overall his performances have
He
not.
has cameos rather than like proper
Yeah, like
spells.
he'll have like a couple. He'll have like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there in certain games where he looks like he's going back to normal, and then just lazy, mate. And I think like, all right, Ward-Prowse has it worked? Hasn't worked in the way I think we want it to. He has scored some blinding goals for us, and set piece wise, again, still he's second to none. But I think Alvarez is the answer for our CDM, and then I think you realistically, I think Gallagher's the answer. Get rid of Souček.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah. That I don't think Gallagher would happen. But Guido Rodriguez apparently he's a good player. As I said, I'm happy. I'm happy with dropping the Suchek and Ward-Prowse if we've got an actual competent backup.
Mhm,
James Ward-Prowse hasn't worked, but I don't think that's necessarily all his problem. He was hoodwinked into a position he wasn't used to playing. So I don't mind, mate. At times he was playing left mid when Paquette was injured.
mhm.
That's not his. That's not his position.
No, no.
Um, Looking at anyone else, you're looking at probably a centre back left. If you get everyone in that list, Guido, Wan-Bissaka, Summerville, Fullkrug, got a centre back you need to pick. I would think probably. I'm actually happy. I don't know what you think, but I'm actually happy with Mavropanos, and Kilman.
I genuinely think Mavropanos was actually one of the centre backs that surprised me last year because I did not think he was going to be any good. And okay, couple silly mistakes here and there, but overall, I'd say his performances, I thought he was all right. I thought he was decent.
He was our
Um,
best man in the back line, I think.
yeah, yeah, and I think don't get me wrong, like I like Zuma. I think he's a class player, but I think we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. He always looks like he's playing with a niggle at the moment. He looks like something's up with one of his knees every single game he plays, and apparently he's fit. So I agree with you. I would say Kilman and Mav are the ones that start. Um,
I'd like
I
to use
think,
Zuma as a Ogbonna. What we used Ogbonna for
yeah,
last year. Look at Ogbonna. Ogbonna and Mavropanos done an absolute masterclass at Arsenal in December
hmm
last year. I'd love him to just do that because I think when he's fit, when you know he's fit and he's not having constant minutes, so you know he's
yeah,
fit. There's no argument. He's a brilliant defender. It's
yeah.
just
No, he's unreal.
he carries knocks all the time.
But I think you're right. I think that maybe not play him as a rotation player, but I think rest him. I think maybe he hasn't got every game in him anymore, so that then you do need to we'll chuck Kilman in, we'll
Does
chuck
Aged start
Mavropanos in.
in front of Mav?
Um, so Aged's a weird one for me because the way his mentality's been recently, I get he wanted to leave under Moyes, right? I kind of understand that. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to replace Moyes the football he played.
Yeah,
My
but the argument
difference,
is you came in to be a ball player centre half and then got used as a fucking yeet ball
yeah.
centre
So
half.
I get his frustration, but my answer is we're meant to be on the up and positive now. We're moving away from that negative dross football,
Yeah.
and we're meant to be pushing forwards into. In my opinion, if he comes out, he has a positive mentality and he wants to play for the club, then yeah, I'm happy for him to start at least a couple of games, see how he's playing.
You think
But
about it, upwards of a 60% possession against Wolves. I know we lost last week, but upwards of 60% possession, that is unheard of
yeah,
from West Ham in the last 4 years.
so to be honest, mate, if he shows a change in his mentality, I'm happy for Agate to stay. But if he's going to do
Did
nothing
he start in
but,
front of Mav though?
oh no,
Right. Okay.
not at the moment.
Okay.
No.
I think they're interchangeable. So I think they both possess qualities. So I think Mavropanos is the worst ball player. I think when you need a ball player in centre half, I think Aged's better on the ball, but I prefer Mavropanos' recovery.
Mhm.
I mean, you see that clearance he done. I think, funnily enough, against Arsenal as well at London Stadium. It was unreal. It's just, some of the stuff that he does is class. I mean, I think Mavropanos has probably turned into a steal, to be fair, of a signing.
Yeah.
Any other centre back you'd like to see, or any other player you'd like to see? You've got an open book, obviously within reason. But Mbappe isn't coming to West Ham.
Do you know what? Right on that left hand side, if I know Summerville's coming, if we weren't getting him, I'd like to go for Eze, but I just don't see that happening.
Wow,
You
that's
know
a
what I
lot
mean?
of
Like,
money.
that's what I mean. The problem is you got the English tax first thing, so like, and the fact he's young talent. So, but the problem is, you know as well as I do, getting him out of Palace.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
I
gonna
was
be
going to
cheap.
say that the fact that Spurs and apparently Man United have been interested in him since day one, and no one's got him out of Palace, that usually tells you that their price tag is absolutely ridiculous.
So they're either asking for a ridiculous price tag, or it could genuinely be because he doesn't want to leave yet. But
We know what it is.
it's money. It is money.
It's Palace. It's nothing
yeah.
against Palace, by the way. I respect Palace for getting the money they want to get, but
Yeah,
they
I back
do
'em.
they do pull people's pants down for prices. I'm jealous actually because they got £50 million for Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
mad.
Like quite genuinely, I give Palace their dues because they are smart with what they do. But my biggest thing is like I don't want to pay that for it. Eze is
Oh,
class,
God
and I
no.
think the way he's going, he will be like unbelievable. But I think I
Fun
don't want my
enough,
pants pulled
you
down
say I
for a
wasn't even
price.
thinking of Eze, but I'd love Eze in that midfield next to Paqueta and Alvarez actually.
Yeah,
Not on the left wing. I love him in a central role. I think he's class.
and what play Kudus out on the left?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
To
think
be fair,
Kudus is
actually,
better.
yeah.
Kudus is better going. I personally think, obviously, it would be contested, but I think he's better going man for man and hitting you at pace. Eze, I think, is just a total one-touch merchant. He's brilliant in that centre mid.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, I said in the transfer things with Gav as well. I think two of the defenders I was looking at was Gomez, and like on the left, but I'd have him at the centre back. To be honest, I wouldn't mind. That wouldn't bother me. But it's getting him out of Liverpool, mate. I don't see him leaving there either.
Have we won the transfer market, Ben?
I think so far we've probably in the Prem.
I'll clarify that. Sorry, if we get Fullkrug, Summerville, Wan-Bissaka, and Guido Rodriguez, and Kilman, have we won the transfer market?
Yeah, it would be the yes, because it would be the most positive I've felt about West Ham after a transfer market for a good couple of years.
Okay. Just to put out there, it is. Oh, God, I'm trying to do some quick maths here. 60, 75. 110 million for those 5 players, from what I can see. I don't know if Guido Rodriguez is to try to find it for the video. I can't find it. 110 million, though. That's Declan Rice money, mate, for everyone you needed.
Yeah, to be honest, I think last year, and I think everyone would have probably looked at our team and said the same thing. When you look at our lineup, we've got a class squad.
It's age.
But we were just that we were hemorrhaging goals,
Yeah.
and we've made changes to the starting 11. We've made changes to the management now. We're changing the way we play. I hopefully, touch wood, we're only positive going
Yeah,
forwards,
we're
mate.
doing what we need to do though at the same time, because if you
Yeah.
look at right back, Kufal can play as
Mm-hmm.
a backup. If you look at centre mid, Souček and Ward-Prowse can play as a backup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got those striker. Fullkrug can play, but Antonio could be a backup. It's like we're not just going, oh, you're in, you're out. We're going, you're in, fight for your place, and whoever starts starts.
Well, that's the thing now. I like the fact that in most areas of the pitch now, we've got multiple options.
Yeah.
So you have, like, obviously that Summerville coming in. Well, Kudus can also play out on the left. Cornet can play out on the right. So if Bowen's not fit, he can go there. We've got Fullkrug that will go up front. But if not, you've got an absolute beast in Antonio that could bring on to terrorise the defence.
And you've got the option of going 2 up front now.
Yeah.
2 up front.
We've
front.
got plenty of options in the middle. Our defensive options are looking quite clean. My only thing is left back looks a bit.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think you'll be okay though if you've got one. If you get Wan-Bissaka, you've got one quote unquote defensive side. You've got one quote unquote attacking side. You've got that ability to move almost Kilman or Mav, whoever plays left centre back, a bit further across.
I love Aaron Cresswell, but I don't think he's got the legs anymore. I think he could do left centre back if you need a ball player there.
Yeah, I think
as a left back to swap with Emerson, I don't see that as a like for like, because Emerson is as annoying as he could be defensively at times, he has at least got pace.
Yeah, he goes forward, man.
Yeah, but whereas Cresswell can ping a ball and he can win a tackle, I'll give him his dues. But he's got no legs anymore, like genuinely, and that's the bit that worries me if he comes on. I'd be quite happy with him at left centre back as ball playing. But yeah, I think maybe left side, I wouldn't mind, even if we brought in a cheap sub, just as an alternative.
You just know the transfer market is making you feel better about West Ham already without actually seeing us play, and then Villa's going to come first day of the season, and it's going to be fight or flight, innit?
Do you know what? The one thing that I want this season, after getting pig sick of it last season, is playing it safe. I want us to just go for it. See Villa, fuck them, go for it. Hands on the wheel and just challenge. And do you know what, mate? If we get beat 3-1, right? See if we can sit there and we go, oh, well, we had 65% possession and we had 15 shots and 10 of them were on target or 6 of them were on target. I don't mind. I'd be happy with it.
I mean that's a Villa team that beat Arsenal twice last year, so I wouldn't maybe read too much into that. But yeah,
but even then, as long as we gave them a challenging game compared to the Arsenal last year was just pathetic. It was just it wasn't, mate. It was actually just getting depressing. Turning the TV on to watch us get gubbed, like because that's what it felt like. It felt like we were tuning in.
Well, we've only got 2 weeks at the end of the day. We've got Championship next week, and then we're back. We're back. And then got City not far after that. But yeah, that's fine. Well, this will be our transfer video. There'll be another video going up tomorrow, most likely, because we've got Gavin back, haven't we?
Yes,
and yes. We'll cover Arsenal.
Probably covering a couple things about Arsenal, but yeah, we'll definitely wind them up with that.
Not winning the league though.